First thing I actually wanted to ask you, this film you're co-directing with John Woo, but I've noticed that a lot of Taiwanese films, or at least several films you've been involved with, also have co-directors. Is this something that happens a lot in Taiwan, and how do they not fight all the time?
I think there's only one who can say okay. The most important thing is that there's only one who can say okay on the set. But sometimes, because in Hong Kong or in mainland China, sometimes because there are so many units is going on, so you can see as many as 4 directors in some Hong Kong movies. So I find this is quite a lot.
But oftentimes it's split. Like one director will handle the action or the action choreography and shooting those scenes. How did it work for Reign of Assassins with the two of you?
I think in the Reign of Assassins, John is mostly producer, but he did direct for one scene in this movie. There is in the first fighting sequence, but his daughter was playing a female assassin. So I think there's the only one who is qualified to direct that scene. So I came to John and say, hey John, I'm pretty busy right now. Could you give me a hand and do it? And he gladly said yes.
When you're making a Wu Jia film with Michelle Yeoh, she's been in so many, and most famously, she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, by another Taiwanese director. How do you keep from being in the shadow of those films, working with her? How do you get her to seem fresh and different on screen?
I think the most the Chinese martial art film, the leading characters are all the male. That's rare. I think I cannot recall the last movie I watched is a leading female. So that's why I say to Michelle, it's a script that is about a female. That's the most important thing. And I think you are the only one who can make this happen. You know, so it happens so naturally.
But because she's done so many movies of this type, were there specific things that you really wanted to be careful not to have her do, or to have her do differently, in order to not, to make this very distinctive from some of these other roles?
Okay. Actually, that's a very interesting question. Because I think this is the first martial art movie who Michelle was in after Country Tiger. But because of the impression that Michelle is so good at the fighting action, of course she was in a lot of the fighting, the action movie, but not martial art movie. So for me, the only thing I need to be careful is, not to repeat what she has done in Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon.
The action choreographer Kang Wei, he's done so many movies. I mean, he's been working since the 70s?
Yes.
What's it like, to work with someone who's that experienced? Does he have old habits that he had to change, or anything like that? Or?
Okay, I think the Master Dong, we always call him Dong Shifu. Master Dong is like a kid. I think he never, I think a lot of filmmakers, they never grow up. I think the Master Dong is one of them. So for me, I think it's very easy for me to talk to him in the same language. And other than this, I think he is very, very professional. He knows every trick in this wire or the saw play. All these things. We even give him a nickname called the head of the security. Well, once he's on set, everybody must be safe. Yeah, so it's a great pleasure and great honor to work with him. And the communication is never be a problem.
A lot of the action scenes were shot much closer than you'll see sometimes. Often you'll see the camera very far back to see everything. Was that your decision or his decision to sort of move in closer like that?
I think that's my decision.
And why did you want to do that?
Because I want this movie to have sometimes have a grand scale. That's why, when we have a new set, the first shot is always, just give me the widest angle, the widest frame as I can have. But for some in the action sequence, sometimes we have some special needles, or sometimes we have some effect we want to focus, like the saw bending. We want to focus we can bend the saw. The saw is bending. We want to focus on the needle. Under that situation, I think we need some more close-up shot. Yeah. So all this is just to have to let the audience have a comprehensive understanding of the fighting sequence.
But a lot of your action scenes, they seem much more concerned with pushing the story forward, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes.
A lot more concerned with showing the actors' faces and expressions rather than the martial arts moves.
Yes.
I mean, was that conscious? Is that something you really planned to do?
Yes. Actually, I intended to, because usually in the Hong Kong martial art movie, when the action director direct one thing, he usually direct it all, including the line, the conversation. But I insist in this movie, the Mastodon will did the action sequence. But whenever they have a facial expression or they have something to say, I had to it's me to do it. So I just for the continuity issue. Yeah.
We could take some questions from the audience. Who's got something burning inside of them?